Lockdown show. Ooh, we're watching the lockdown show. Ooh. Morning. How we doing? Stand by your beds. What we're going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about something which passed through my mind. Which passed through my mind yesterday. That there. Somebody said, why do you call it Beyonce 2? I said, well, just because, you know, I had Beyonce there. She says, no. Is it because you put your ring on it? Well, hell. I think, well, I nearly died with laughing. I had to stop laughing because my stomach was hurting that much. If you like it, then you should have put your ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put your ring on it. I've been talking about in the last couple of lockdowns, well, quite a few, about we don't need the fat bastard food, do we? We've learned that we don't need to go to McDonald's, we don't need to go to blah, 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 blah. But something passed my mind, and that was in the end of July this year. It's 20 years since I had my ileostomy, my belly bag fitted. 20 years, oh my God. And after 10 days, you were allowed out. But I caught sepsis. The stitches on my arse had split and nobody picked it up, and I caught an infection and was so close to death, the Grim Reaper came and all the rest of the stuff. But as I was coming out for the second time, the desire for Kentucky was through the roof. Absolutely through the roof. So much so that I could hardly walk. I had to talk like that because my whole body, the moisture had gone. My teeth were loose and everything. God, thinking back, bloody Nora. Anyway, I got picked up, and on the way back through to Gisborough, which is where I lived at the time, we had to just go into Teesside Park's Kentucky Fried Chicken and get a bucket. And on the way back, yum, 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 I ate the bucket. Just incredible, really. The desire for this stuff was overwhelming. When I got home, some 20 minutes later, it all came back up. And that was because the body just couldn't react to it. Or reacted badly to it. Not couldn't react, it did react. And it reacted badly. So this is where, no matter where you think that you can do without stuff, we do have desires for things which are incredibly strong. And so I can understand people are desperate to go out again, even just after 8 weeks, and have stuff that they've never, they haven't had for 8 weeks. They want to go into the parks, they want to go into the pubs, they want to sit in a queue for the most expensive bloody coffee in the world. Or they want to go and spend some money and eat some food which is tasty because it's full of chemicals and fat and awful stuff that we've learned over the last few weeks. So, there is that understanding. Now, one of the things which you may not be aware of, which I've been aware of for quite some time, and I keep forgetting about it, and I remember about it, and I've remembered now. The brain cannot distinguish between thinking about something and actually saying the words. It's the same part of the brain, the same vortex in the brain that activates the thought process to the speech. So that if you can think about the smell of bacon, there's a good possibility, if you concentrate hard enough, you'll smell the bacon. Smell the cup of coffee. Smell the aroma of the Kentucky. Smell the aroma of the chips from Burger King or McDonald's. And that's where one of the things which is very difficult to give up. It's something which not many people are aware of. So there's an old saying, you become what you think about. And that's because you're telling yourself that's what you are. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to become. That's where your fears sit. Even though you might not have done something, there's a fear of, oh my God, I can't go and do that. What if? And that's where I think a lot of it's happening at the moment. The brain is talking to you and saying, I need to go outside, I need to go on my bike, I need. However, if you then turn around and think to yourself, well, I don't need it. I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that. You're going to become a lot calmer. You're going to become a lot more settled. You're going to become more in tune with yourself. You've now realised you can actually live on very little. And I think that's where a lot of the trouble is in today's society, that we always need to strive for more. We strive for more. The world needs the interest rates. Things have increased in price by 1%. And I've often thought over the years, why? What has made something more expensive? What? Well, it all starts at the lowest base, doesn't it? But if you kept the prices the same, there wouldn't be inflation. That's the word I was looking for. There wouldn't be inflation, would there? If people kept the prices the same. What is the point of inflation? It's because some greedy bastard has gone, oh, I'm going to put this up 10%. I'm going to get more money. And it goes up 10%. The next person puts it up 11, the next person 12, 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth. For no reason at all except greed. It's just something which I don't think a lot of people realise. We don't need inflation. We can keep the base because wages certainly don't go up with inflation. Something goes up 10%, your wages don't go up 10%, do you? No, Uncle Kev. So these are the things which I've been thinking about over the last few days. That whatever you're saying in your head, it's as if you're speaking them and the brain will take action. So think about what you're saying to yourself. Oh, God, I feel ugly. And the brain goes, yeah, you bloody are. Somebody else goes, hey, I'm a handsome, rugged-looking bugger. And the brain goes, yes, you are. You see, one of the things which has been bothering me for 30 years, I made a terrible, absolutely terrible decision to sign off to come out of the army. I'd knocked me back. A promotion prospects had ground to a bloody halt. Even though I'd been promoted to sergeant at the 4-year point, it was taken off me again. And so everything ground to a halt. And I used to watch military programs. Remember Soldier Soldier? And I'd sit there and there'd be tears rolling down my cheeks because I missed it so much. And after these 30 years, the brain has gone. Oh, the army, oh, the army, oh, the army. And it's infested my thoughts. Looking back, I wasn't that bloody good. I couldn't run. I was the worst runner in the history of the recruit training. I couldn't run for friggin' toffee. Hated it. Couldn't see the point of it. However, put a 40-pound pack on my back and say go and march 10 miles. Not an issue. But I just couldn't see the point of it. I found it boring. It hurt. And for years I've thought to myself, if I'd learnt to run properly. But here's something which, again, just these last couple of days, being on, if you like it then you should have put a ring on it. I came out and I went through hell. Because I was missing it that much. But I've heard people who got to the level of being lieutenant colonels or regimental sergeant majors or sergeant majors, and they after the 22, 25, whatever year they stayed in, that's the point that they reached. However, now, what are they doing? Some are digging ditches. Some are driving coaches. Some are learning how to chop down trees. I make films. I write books. I know there's another guy who got to RSM. I met him across in Germany. He's written a few books as well. But had I stayed in, what would I be doing now? Well, my son certainly wouldn't have been born. I might have had a lot more money. But my son wouldn't have been born. I don't think well, certainly you would have taken just one different decision and the whole life would have been different. I've got no idea what it would have been, so there's no point in thinking about it. But if I think about what I've been through, I had a company with 40 people. I was no damn good at that either. But I started making the films on the motorbike 10 years ago, coming up 11 years ago. So I make films, I write books, I can drive a bloody truck. So the skills I've now got would I have, and I don't think I would. And I love what I do. So there's no point in thinking backwards to the decisions that you made, because at that time you made that decision because you thought it was absolutely right. And the only reason I miss the army now is I don't have 1,500 quid coming through my letterbox as my pension. And I'd be able to relax and be a lazy bastard. Well, I'm already a lazy bastard, so I don't need any help. But the thoughts in my head back then, I'm getting out, I've had enough, people getting promoted past me, I'm sick of this bloody job, I hate it. And that was the last year, I bloody hated it. The less I could do, the better, and people recognised that and could hardly wait for me to leave, and I could hardly wait to get out the door. But when I walked out that door, I was going to knock down the world. And all that's happened is the world has knocked me down, because life is not all about sunshine and rainbows. In fact, I would say 75% of life is pain, is shit, is unhappiness. But that 25% of happiness makes up for it all. Yesterday, for the first time ever since I bought the bike, and I've had the bike quite some years, let me tell you, I did 42 miles in 2 hours on that. And I was knackered. And I looked in the mirror this morning and thought, I'm not losing weight. I'm not losing any more bloody weight than I lost 2 weeks ago. And I'm not eating that much. So there's times when you try and strive for something and you don't quite reach it, that you have these thoughts. Oh, I'm going to give up, and the brain goes, yeah, I would have known. Get the cake back in. Get the chocolate bars back in. Go and buy some ice cream. Come on, let's go. But you've got to persevere. You've got a goal that you want to achieve. And I don't know what your goal is, but start to talk about it in your mind. Start to say the positive things. I'm going to go to New Zealand. I'm going to go and ride my motorbike in Canada. I'm going to go and ride my motorbike around Bosnia. I'm going to go and make a film around India. And that's what you've got to focus on. Because if you stop focusing on it, the brain's very, very quickly going to turn around and say, what are you going to go and do that for, you daft twat? How much is that going to cost you? What are you going to do that? What's that going to... And the brain, in the negative, which it is most of the time, is going to talk you out of it. And yet that is never saying one word out of your mouth. When you think, oh, I'm not going to go and do that, it doesn't come out of your mouth, does it? You don't say, oh, I'm not going to go and do that. All you do is think about it, and then you don't do it. So start to think, and that's the lesson of today, start to think in the positive about what you're going to do. Think about nothing else, think about a goal, and think nothing but good things about it. Feel the sunshine on your face, feel the wind coming through your visor. Hear the sound of the motorbike. Listen to the birds in the countryside when you pull up. Think about the views that you're going to go and see as you go over Hardknott and Rhinos, or you go around Borrowdale. Think about the beautiful things which are going to lie ahead of you. And perhaps it might make you feel a little bit better today. Until the next time, bye-bye for now.